Assalamualaikum. Fikuri ingila episode ka kagon mo juan kasabado ko li Yameen Rasheed ko me this week in Maldives ge continuing series ge devan episode ne awan men hikuri continue ko gendeve anikam ekam kandima vigotum we had a gap that we couldn't fill for Yameen personal time hori gotunna ji. So Yameen, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, so about the gap, there are a lot of people who think this is what I do for a living, the write tweets and blogs, but I actually have a lot of stuff to deal with. And even though we sort of did agree on a weekly episode, we haven't yet done that. Me, there was an episode the other week, after a gap of 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So let's aim for a week. I had a really busy week the first time. It was both work as well as bearing me. You would have seen that Facebook page. They put up my post and your picture and stuff on it. There was all this stuff coming in. I didn't really know how to deal with it, so I sort of took time out, was engaging some friends and trying to formulate a response. Like this bullying and harassment online. And they were targeting basically Kudakuding was 17, 18, 19, 20 years old. Asli Kudakuding tada. Mimi hafatang bayaku cyber. I think they used the word cyber crime to describe this Rajya for them. But anyway, there are a bunch of people who have found some soft targets to go after, and then there were the usual me, you, some the regular people I said Donna maybe. So yeah, that happened, and then I was also working on some personal projects. And I just got too busy to actually dedicate me for 1 or 2 hours. That's basically what happened.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, let's get into it. Your first story was me airport ke number kuro. It's become a joke, hasn't it?
Basically, before we start, just for anybody just tuning into this episode, I have a weekly series post called This Week in Maldives, where I just do a roundup of a hafta ka hinga diya kantatta. And again, before we proceed, I also want to sort of address the feedback we got from the last episode.
All right, okay.
So there was this one dude, I think, who had a problem with me switching between English and Divahida.
Yeah, Twitter conversation.
And that's a fair point. Even I am a language purist in most cases. I am a writer. When I write English, I don't like other words to creep in there. But in my defense, I only started speaking Divehi for the first time in my life in 2010, basically.
How old would you be? Age?
I will need to reverse calculate. 2010, 7 years ago, maybe. I don't know. I mean, I know what people say. Divehi mahaka dakka. Don't understand. It doesn't come naturally to me. So it might be kind of annoying, but then I decided this is how we normally speak, Mojo, you, me.
Yeah.
Sort of not. I'm not Velazini. I can't speak the very well and fluent like Ibra and Velazini.
No, I can't either.
Rasheed, yeah. For anybody who is a language purist and watching this, just accept our apologies. This is just how we speak.
The Astuga Ekamamidma Visnanga Dafia thing, the thought flow is funny one, so might as well just go with it. And on the way just thinking about why language I've been approached by a lot of people and say, can you just stick with one language, maybe English and you can't sometimes, by the way just and some words just are not there. They no singing the flip money.
Then I think somebody else had this just observation that Yameen Rasheed, when he speaks in real life, he's so soft spoken. And this has happened before because people see my tweets and my writing and they assume ekkala vara
Gadda.
kike hunade gadda pikasha vara baro adukunne wahaka dakkade vara aggressive vade. But and I've disappointed people before. I once met this journalist lady. As I met her for an interview, sort of to discuss something. And she just looks at me as like, this is, you're not at all how I pictured you, though. She thought I would be aggressive and, overbearing, but
Twitter
turns out I'm polite and
maybe it's just that Twitter bully stereotype are you a Twitter bully? You're not a Twitter bully though. You
I
wouldn't
was the
be classified as a
president of MDP's cyber bully team. There was Dr. Howlett who once used that, the late Dr. Howlett.
yeah.
She once actually called me the president of MDP cyberbully team. So, actually, his that RISE association happened with Yameen. This was way before Yameen became president. And then the other Yameen became president, so now I just accept it.
That's the right Yameen, no?
This actually happens though. There's the MP Yameen Rasheed. It's not just Yameen Rasheed.
And then there's the
DM ko fa bawami hum saraginawa.
ane Yameen sulena di me makana show
Yameen. So yeah, and there are people who go around spreading rumors about how we are all the same person, but yeah, I can't help it. Our parents are not very creative with naming kids. Yeah, but that's it. Let's go. We have to get
story.
story.
Right now, Ibrahim Nasir airport renaming into Velana International Airport. It's a stupid name. Just off the bat.
They did that. It was first called Hulule Airport, which is very straightforward. It's not Hulule, it's Hulule Airport. And then Maumun called it Male International Airport at the International Airport ka badal hisab, which is reasonable. And then I think they just didn't want an Arabic sounding name.
Ibrahim Nasir.
I don't know, it just sounds too
Velana.
I don't know.
Maybe Velana sounds like a tourist package color product. Maybe that ties in with the whole color and more in line with economic vision. Or it could just simply be just petty.
Vision.
I don't know. That was the comment that you had. Sarcastic administration's economic vision. Maybe that was it. Package it in a tourism.
I got this bullshit terms like a bear and confidence. Like this is what. There's no reason to rename the airport, in my opinion, but they did.
This may just be like petty. So it's just like, I'll stick it to Anni by just changing name. Petty childish
That's actually very likely. I was walking past Velanage. So Velanage was inaugurated under Nasheed's administration, and there used to be a plaque there of the day that it was inaugurated. They removed it and they just have one name there. It just says Velanage. It's like no acknowledgement that this was inaugurated under a different president at some point.
Yeah, they keep doing that though. Office Honda presidents portraits the shift to Kuruma. I mean, really hard the petty.
And in Singapore, this is how things are done in Singapore, I suppose. I don't know.
Singapore buildings and
I was also walking at the far end of Male, near IGMH, because there used to be a billboard of Yameen Rangalo or some equivalent crap. And then it was bad enough, but then suddenly one day I see that there are two billboards next to each other. In case you missed the first one, there's another they're like 2 feet apart, giant billboards. Why?
What did the second one say?
How similar, something about how the future is bright and like there are just two giant pictures of Yamin at the end of Aminimako. Just so they can't go to a restaurant because I went to Thum, which is in Hemware called Artificial Beach Care. You sit there, first of all, you can hear MDP, Jagaha next door, they're loud as hell. There's traffic. And on top of that, you have to look at Yamin's face for the duration of your meal. It's just not worth the experience. I mean, the food is good, but still, it's just
view
sad.
But
And
though Astuga, I don't think we can conclude it's just it makes no sense other than petty behavior. This is what's happening to Aduga Huri Convention Center, Vesto. It's the same thing. Me as Making us the hint tanaka inge hint story because there's a bigger story about continuation of government. Though mere ebba very konni muni ma misala just coming to Miharu eva. What if Yamin loses election 2018? Hypothetically, Yamin does everything within his power to rig the election or win it somehow, and then he still loses it. And halfway the bridge me are really for it. I'm out of with an only them fanavandu with an only an imam with this whole continuation of expenses involve a power kankan. Though this comes back to make a Addu Convention Center. We've spent the money whether we like the guy who built it or not. Fanavandu that money is wasted. Acceptable and me petty come with
Gawa Korea because if every new guy who comes in has to start over, if he's going to start over, GMR for airport like if tomorrow Yamin is I don't know toppled or resigns or whatever. And the next guy comes and Mihuri hacha cancel kolla fallong ena bedum wagote kam kurang. That's just not sustainable.
This is bothering me this whole week. I keep Twitter conversations though. Me I am a what a fussy hand though miharu. Is all like a velazine me wahaka to tankola mainstream and but diam ane skeptical ko bala dirasa ko visno vare warang awa fale jump ko gemme har MDP goes kama wahaka dakkam warang awas MA awasigannan me ekamaku reality ki it's probably what a nuanced ko power kankan hinga huri thibe edu negi by decision ta ki edu assuga nagan emme rangalu decision westme because negotiate ko gen ane bag elleni incrementally evaje echen hoda so we should actually be grateful edu maseke kuri mis me hoda din echissasha e culture no feteni kama vanya we don't recognize people's work and effort though anniva tungama duvagana ready war anni kuri rangalukankam mandanne tembe sama warapase let's just people cannot judge on that single event they just want to judge the entire thing was for a ghost
but don't we do have this sort of culture of me demonizing whoever came before us. So our personality-based politics, because we don't think about judiciary as a system, democracy as a process. Because Yamin goes for Yamin, Jehen very common balang hisam nangalwe. Oh, Ali Hamid goes him, Ali Hamid Durukurang Abujehe, or always comes me a ganamek kia. You demonize that person and then discredit everything he has. Or Yamin said this and therefore everything he does is wrong. So if you can't look at things objectively, it's like yes, Yamin is maybe a dictator or whatever. He has a lot of things, valid criticisms you can hold against him. Sort of give him credit.
Yeah, exactly.
Same with Nasheed, I mean, we have said this before. I mean, I'm a huge fan of Nasheed. At the same time, I don't have any hesitation in criticizing things that I feel are wrong.
Exactly.
And so we need to have that thinking where we look at issues and at the merits of each issue or each decision, how this affects me, how this affects my children. And
adi
just
time change wakam vesinge edu naganje negi decision hama with time, we're talking 7 years, 8 years later, a lot's changed. Inge edu that may have been the right
yeah,
decision neka miedu e badalum ge terem bakan kan goswima ane muli edu kudu uriha masekete go hen nuane do
yeah. And that's how historically things have happened. Though you need to consider context. Not you don't get 100% of everything you want. If you do, then that's is going about either way. You can only sort of move it inch by inch, part by part. That's reality. That's how actual change, a revolutionary change overnight. We had a democracy as a democracy, a system, and yes, it doesn't happen that way. You can't overhaul the whole thing in one go. But today, for instance, we can talk like this freely, even though it's regressing a bit. This couldn't have been this week. You and I couldn't have been doing a Skype call in
no
2001, for instance, or
no no
2000.
no this would
Yeah.
just
So, but now we have Mijage Meti Lipifa. Kurimi couldn't have criticized other party as recently as 2009, but today we can. So the fact that we can challenge authority, we can challenge those in power, this very idea is new to us. And the thing is, the people in power, on the other hand, they tend to deploy this demonizing attacks, targeted at people than at ideas or systems. That one person is everything that is wrong with the judiciary or wrong with the police or wrong with the whatever. That is not how things work in real
no
life.
exactly
Yeah.
Dekam
That's
thing
pretty much. Uh,
that's a big story because but it's good that we were able to discuss that and people were thinking about it though.
yeah. And this
And
is part of this. Airports, the
yeah,
Kacheri,
exactly.
me, like you're just undoing history, basically.
But it's
That's
only an insecurity that is undoing history, though for nothing else. Come with you, come with the greatung again, Lava Dasko, eti Danegane, better one for certain with the bedo, eti Gilduni, Vanoni, Foruni,
mm,
Makai.
mm.
Makes no sense,
I have actually written about this Ankara Koring, Wahid very Kamuga, where we do this as our history is full of Hamikahala historical myth making, where we demonize. We had that happen before us, and then everybody who is in charge of the present writes the past. So at the end is like when we come to 2016 and 10 and we don't know what they have happened in the past. Like we don't know factual about the Portuguese or the kings or even Bodo Takurufan. And there's so much mythology around it that we don't know. So everything we just have to sort of accept as fine.
facts
This
come
is
and
probably
at some point the way should step back and say, look, harwenga history muddied for ma me issue ang address kuranche he and maybe have an academic approach to solving that problem just so that we have a right representation of kina to the way me sabang I every age value cannot be dismissed because we don't appreciate our journey to where we are today, which it's harder to build on top of that, and this is part of that problem, though, that we keep reading ourselves off Kankurim Vedyakankan so that we may never learn lessons from it or any of that.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So that's tragedy, and somebody should think about that. What a deep book. Right, so let's just go into the next story of the Carnival cafes closed for raid after raid of undocumented workers. And the undocumented, everybody kept saying, "Oh, was it? What was the reason you went after that?"
Yeah, so what has happened apparently is police and immigration conducted a joint raid of carnival cafes, and they arrested up to 50. Then the headlines all said undocumented workers. Then, as we know, there are a lot of up to 60,000, I think, foreign workers in the Maldives who are there. You can call it illegally because they do not have a valid work visa.
Currently,
you can call it unauthorized, but they're not undocumented. They're not, people that are like off the grid. They
Though they
uh,
came in illegally into our
uh,
country, on legal travel documents, registered
exact.
legally.
Yeah, Mihar, dunia misal US like Trump said he's going to build a wall to keep undocumented people from
Mm-hmm.
coming. Somebody jumps a wall and comes in. Yeah, you definitely off the grid. There's no paperwork on you there. You
Mm-hmm.
don't know who is in the country and who is outside. Kamraj, so far, to my understanding, there has never been somebody who was, I don't know, who swam across or came, illegally on a boat.
There was one person, there's an African guy who ran leggy kujje.
Somalis.
Yeah, but then so I think his name is Muhammad or something
Mhm.
in today. But he didn't have papers. Other than that,
So
other than
other than that, I don't think there
undocumented
were.
was
But
there.
yeah, so that's the only probably undocumented people who have arrived. Then Emiho higher Gengas, the carnival Kada has had to close down basically, and that is problematic to me. It's not that yes, if you're not on a work visa, you shouldn't be in the country. That's fine. I get that. Ekamako, if you think about it, there has been one case that has seen a conviction in this human trafficking thing that has happened in the Maldives. The people who bring these undocumented workers
Mm-hmm.
in, emihon target emihon me uh, get me VFR wearing, and all of these people are safe. Just the victims of this. These are the people I consider victims, the workers
I have a
themselves.
comment on this thing.
Mm,
I grew up in a family, construction company.
mm,
So my family
mm,
business was construction company. So
mm,
I had the opportunity, work for labor quarters, the
mm,
thing, and some of the things that I saw disturbed me and bothered me. But this was a
mm,
industry standard of vegan, MMS kurago vegan. The
mm.
bauer systematically ජීවහොන්න ලුප්තහකුන් ජම්පකුන් නිමේ ඉරු දෙම්වාගේ අස්තුකමි නිසාලක බොඩති construction projects that is really worth your money අන්නනි සරකාර bidding process tereng as a yaging check because there's other issues like a private contractor nagafi contract to enforcement kakuto default wedge aneko loss of money
So
none of this stuff works kala quota
sorry,
cost eh kike hello can you hear me
yeah, you're breaking up a bit. I'm sorry.
mihar rangalto
Can you hear me?
I can
Mihar
hear
Rangal.
you I can hear you right
Yeah, no, I think there's some connection problems.
kodako
Yeah, notification problems. Yeah.
I'm getting like tigulage ti aratangkola pixelators again
Mm-hmm.
mabunamnolle cheki mer the construction companies the setup e honna gothun emi private bodet contract na kiyama payfar dimawa kankamaki ekala contract halfway through enforce nukuran nuve nuani yakomes ekaku default wegen ekala kankama echi ginawima everybody who has a construction company is looking at the government jobs the bidder lagging and because they seem much more safer secure they go out with the bidding process the lowest bidder yang apatu wes libe gotakar etireven edi wagut kekal matin cream kendemo evriya kame vamu ganne resekal profit anganne etukolako nundo mi kandani hen dima nundo mi kandani because you have to at the end of the day make it viable running your logistics and all of that some of that stuff is nightmarish rajya kampura the eheng vamu ganna goteng as labor agu macet jesse ka besne labor facilities the macet jesse ka besne te molen toxic etchaka eti batul me then competitive farm which yaka yeah ekankam better coffee you are unable to be competitive in the bidding process so this needs to be looked at it from a different point of view
Yeah, there are
altogether
multiple approaches. What you said has a pretty simple solution. Kannenge aslo, if you think about it.
yeah tell me what's
What
on
if there was a mandated minimum wage across the board?
ekan nukurang
Because
hen
ekam bernamen takuraka, because then ekkalami burna cost cut down, and basically slave labor employee nukureveda hisabam. $1 $30 $30 you put 20 people into a room, and I have a picture on my blog which I got from Transparency Maldives website account. That is not human conditions to live in.
No,
That is
some of this
prison.
stuff is
It's
horrible.
worse than prison
It
actually.
is worse than prison.
So they don't have mattresses. They don't have. It's a small room with what this many people in the picture, and it's just not living. This is exploitation. And but if there was something called a minimum wage for all workers, Rajya Ganunga, there is no separate law for migrants and separate law for Maldivian labor. If it's across the board, then you have to. They can't compete on slave labor. That's something I've thought of before. And it's something else. All of these Bangladeshis and mostly Bangladeshis. That's what we know, but also other countries. I mean, these are people who can be intercepted at the point of entry. Huriha mis miannu nekkada Vedana International Airport. If you had trained professionals at that point to identify, like, who brought you here, for what purpose, and if there is a pattern to this, it's not that difficult, because there's always a money trail. There's always, the local agent. I don't think there should have been only one conviction. They was bero me. Divesang adi mihatana connect kanne.
Ecco, divessa nulla pure vi fare hanno.
Mega Huria Faida me koronyane hindi hinna. So yeah, there is something very messed up here, but if you're ignoring all the other pieces and just going after the exploited workers themselves, then that is not fair, though.
No, it's not. It's scapegoat in the at its worst form.
No, my problem with that is, first of all, these are often unskilled workers, laborers, and waiters and so on. I have spoken to some of them, and I have read documentations by other people of their conditions. By far, they sell their land, they take huge loans to be able to afford to come to this thing. High-end tourist destination, 5-star resort, you might make $700-800. And this is a lot of money for them. So they take huge loans, go into debt. By far, I heard this at a workshop, at a seminar a few weeks ago. There have been instances when people come to Maldives and say, this is not what I imagined Dubai to look like, because they were told they were going to Dubai. These are the stories like that. And maybe then they can't really fly back because they're in debt. Yeah, they're in the sector. They can't get legal assistance most of the time. They don't know. They can't go to the police because police doesn't give a damn. And they're like hugely vulnerable parts of the population. They have I was there at MRC, Red Crescent. I was volunteering there, and we were getting reports that MNDF work permit before we give away water. This is drinking water.
It's a basic right. Basic right.
Basic. I mean, these are people who don't get enough water at the best of times. Work permit. So that is how we view all the workers, not just undocumented people.
So it's a deeper social problem about how we see others, and this is what xenophobia and all that is coming from.
Yeah, and I don't know where that comes from, because we are sort of being racist against people who look like us, have the same color, often the same religion. Why do we feel superior to people who work often harder than we do, and how is this normal?
They were a simple if you weren't showered or if you didn't have decent clothes and that was your way of life for a week or month, which yeah, you might stink a bit or something like that. The ekala
Yeah.
shelo ichi den nagane
No,
and
but
don't
look at the
understand.
picture I have on my blog. If you
Yeah,
have
I
to live
know.
in those
Yeah,
conditions for a
exactly.
month, yeah, you would smell worse or equal there.
And no, and I would me jalagenda menenge jalong tere kuner come du gandu awas.
Yeah, yeah.
The so ekala kankan naga for thing even different come up bedi makai exactly it makes no sense. Hamuga kulaya ata lola fa istata dina uriha etcheng eketche.
Jale Borneo, that actually reminded me. When I was at Dhoni, though, like our conditions were not the best. Like the ammi hun and ammi hun tayar ko for golia kam fan service me hun lag and the gangolane May demo zahara ko. But that was still better than what the Bangladeshi inmates or the foreigners, like the laborer inmates were kept in. Gegoli was slightly far away, so we could see it on the way back and forth. Me, basically, there were kennels, where you keep
Keep your
animals.
dogs or
Yeah, yeah.
animals, yeah.
It was horrible, and they can't complain. Who would they complain to? Yeah, it felt. I don't know. This sort of this. This is a state. What do you call custodial, the police cannot really discriminate between anybody there. These are not convicted criminals or anything. These are detained people. I mean, was the gengolong conditions for, I mean, their regular conditions are as bad, but once you're under state care, you shouldn't discriminate. State discrimination. And I also found out something very interesting, or rather disgusting, shameful. The Bangladeshi High Commission provides health care to Bangladeshi citizens. What does that say about us as a country?
It is embarrassing.
It's embarrassing to us. It's like we don't care for our laborers, so we can't give adequate health care. The citizens embassy that is hard.
Me, must have some very simple that any person who's bring a foreign worker has to pay for medical insurance of that worker. System or even different obvious. Private companies could take initiative and government policy level enable and all these people would have medical insurance. Hennon masakkata nadewe gotak nugenewe gotak ham ei part of that commitment hetimme massa halluwan.
But even if that was so on paper, how would it be in practice? Because by far even on paper discriminate koffa. Misalaka roda mahomide in ayat no that the allowance. Again, under Maldivian law, there is no discrimination constitutionally between locals and foreigners. And if one set of employees get something, then the other set of employees also should get that thing. So Bangladeshi Muslims should also get the same allowance that anybody else gets. But so that sort of systemic
Discrimination
on paper. So you don't expect these people to make something like me that would benefit the laborers and nobody else necessarily though. But this is something I really struggled with. Aslu, why do we discriminate against them?
Me ane ituru inaettake noni ma bodeti moltaken hoda bhakash noni me dekeveni just the next person equal leggotuge dekigen even though some things may be different about them the en rashakum yesuzen gawmakum yesuzen age social status ki masekkat kura labor etto noni whether that person's rich or not or I mean the business on kurani to at the end of the day
then why do they come here if it is still better than what is back at their place? That is those are the people I think need to open a dictionary and look at the word exploitation. Exploit me Korani because they come from a poor background or they don't have the necessary education or the legal support or whatever. Hema mihako vulnerable vima ega beenon hifon uh, in a way that is harmful to them and beneficial to you. That is exploitation. Vima, but they kind of brush it away and says, well, then they shouldn't have come here. These are the conditions that we are going to treat them.
Me,
I
and humans, and every one of us, though, we do this thing that whereby we think the other person also thinks like us, or approaches the same problems like us, and are of the same capacity, intelligence level, or is like us, and then we broad judgmentally mawa with the so I'm not sure how you'd go about fixing something like that, because this includes an individual delusions about how everyone else is.
yeah
This
yeah.
is emotional intelligence we salbum wagaman.
Basically, just look at the other person and see the living conditions he is living in, and ask yourself, is this something I'm going to? This is something I would choose for myself or my children. And if the answer is no, then don't do it to the other person. That is quite simple. If you reduce it to that, it's like, do you want to live in those conditions that I'm like? I have the picture open right now of the laborers in this room.
There's two people on the top bunk and then one in the bottom bunk, and then
And
yeah,
yeah,
shoulder
and
mati shot nagafini.
yeah, there's no like safety. There's random wires everywhere. There is no mattress. There is no hygiene. There's no way to keep their stuff. So this is not human conditions. This is very, very shameful. That these are people living in the Maldives. These are the conditions we put them in. And I think we need to think deeper about it. And not just that. And these are people who work 6 days a week, and they get 1 day off. They maybe have Friday normally to the only public spaces available. That's Jamhuri Maidan or the Sultan Park or wherever. And there are people who complain about that. I've seen comments on, Miharu and places where it says, these people are filling up our parks, and like very shallow comments on Facebook and so on, that these are our parks, why are these other people in here? And they're stinking up the place, they're crowding up the place. Yeah, but
And I mean, it's very easy to blame the people mikahala kankama, and then left to the liberal wagging or put social justice me they don't see me response because I think this is ignorance. Ignorance is offensive. Ignorance is ignorance filani educate so ignorance exists ha hindaku ene comprehend no kurevena do midakkawa ken ehme ena punane do me emiha ki korang he yamage paaku nagangandani. So this comes back down to the level of education and school curriculum, parenting, how we treat ourselves in our homes gaya. This is not just simple problem.
Yeah, also empathy. Just that treating other people the way you would want to be treated yourself. That is, I think, the simplest way I can communicate this concept. Don't do to other people what you can't or don't want to do for yourself. That is pretty straightforward. And the other person, he feels the same pain that you do. They feel the same emotions or whatever that you have. They find the same discomfort or the same heat or the same whatever. I don't think that's very difficult. But the thing is, you need to take time out and think about it.
And people don't have that capacity to take a time out and think about things.
Yeah, because it's easier to dismiss than to deal with it. And this is something I have said before with regards to our jihadist friends. Dunia ke hentanta gole Muslim gole haal feni fadera medani da badi hifagen. But what about the people in your own country, in your own community, in your own neighborhood, who are suffering like but you don't do anything
Can't
that.
we exercise our right to jihad in the other descriptions of the word and then help
Yeah,
these
because
people?
that is actual hard work.
Uh,
If you're trying to fix the migrant problems and their issues, then that is a lot of boring work. It is not glamorous
mm,
like, jihad or whatever. Then Syria ka sa Malayan ne kiya gaya and Facebook ka jihad. But this, you can't do that with migrant workers locally, because that is, rolling up your sleeves and doing hard work. And I think they avoid that kannegi na fahar.
but එහෙම ගුණේ මේකමක then everybody has a malicious intent in how they deal with the world. එහෙම තිබුණ වෙන්නේ.
No,
Is
I don't
that?
think it's necessarily intentional. I think people are drawn to what they think is more romantic, more glamorous. They want to portray themselves, not necessarily as a hero, but they want to die a glorious death or whatever. And that's what the curriculum ke sunnani boda hangurama gawa ke am kahale
That's glory in death.
basically go out and feed these people or clothe those people or give them medical assistance or whatever, volunteer in your community. Then at least Rajya, I haven't seen much, and the only people I've seen who talk about it or care about it are certain NGOs, then human rights community, but that is not enough. If you really want to change conditions, you really need a broader base, and I think the mosques and the schools are great places to start educating.
එමසික mosques run කරාමි ඕන education run කරාමි ස්මිහු corporation na එචිනු දිබෙන්නේ recommend නොකර වෙනතා දෙන් අන්නනේ අනේ මස්සලේකි දෙන් government policy level impose කරාෂේ පුණීම දෙම්මානේ උතකි එක්කල mosque and schools though with the baby so there has to be a different way to go about this problem rather
but
than
the states
impositions.
already control Rajya curriculum as well as Rajya mosques.
I mean, they can do
are
so much better just by simply changing a lot of things. We can't dismiss that. But imposition
ideally, I don't want the mosques to be under state control, but now that that is the situation in Rajya, like the mosques are controlled by the state, then they do have this power. They just don't use it. When I was in India, like the imam at my mosque near my house was a doctor. And they had a medical center thing going on. There would be this beggars outside on Fridays. They would actually get donations, prepare food, and feed these people. And that is a sort of community building exercise that Fridays are in India, at least in the mosques that I went to. It was not a state-controlled mosque or anything. It was just a private mosque. But I don't see that here. I don't know. Like, they have all this conspiracy, divisive rhetoric.
As centers of community organization, that would be an ideal use, though.
That is how I picture mosques to be. Like that's the whole purpose of religion, to build a community of people
that with shared values, and foster those relationships, and then and let that grow as organically as possible in a large way, and then everyone is saved.
Tackle issues in your community, because the issues that we face here in Mali may not be what is facing Saudi Arabia or not even Saudi Arabia. Forget that. Maybe the issues in Mali are different from the issues in Kurdafushi, for instance. But you have your own community, you have your own challenges, and the mosques are, as a community center, can do so much more than what they are doing today. That is my whole point, and this is one major issue. Like 60,000 migrant workers are here without valid permits, and these are all people living outside of the law, without the protection of the law, without any sort of assistance from us, from our state, and that is very depressing.
All right. Next one. We are now in 45 minutes. Okay. So police dog search wahaka hundreds searched in police drug operation.
Yeah.
That's a big thing though me mafurta me galagan tankolaki I divehinnaki dogs kala ane pets just exposed by nune ehmema there's trauma happening every time you take those dogs into people's homes and then biru dakka kannun kanne eka biru ganefa kudakutin mes traumatize if enun gute kan ekan kureyamane though this cannot just go on like that. There has to be some orientation to dogs exist to before you can take these dogs into people's homes.
And these are not pet dogs. These
No,
are sniffer dogs.
yeah, exactly.
So they are meant to be, very thorough and search
Ah,
things. And yeah, yeah. Masha has to make I saw the headline. Apparently, hundreds of people were searched and they arrested. I think 9 or so people.
hmm,
And I saw the pictures in the media. Then Vidani Gege Faskuram. Uh, there was this. These are not rich people's homes. These are not drug millionaires' homes. What are the
hmm,
there's graffiti on the walls, there's paint peeling off,
hmm.
and these cops go and arrest these people. They're searching these houses, not the houses of people who are getting rich off the trade, clearly,
Hmm.
and not the houses of the people who are controlling the ports and controlling the operations. Then that's why I feel this is a PR exercise than an actual attempt at stopping the drug trade. Because if you were trying to attack you know, you go to the source, you go to the people who are controlling this, not this.
I mean, and full disclaimer, I'm a former drug addict. Near the clean I'm counting, almost 5 years after my last relapse also.
Mm,
Uh, uh, these people, Mikahala Gege, I've seen a lot of them Ekidustu, Ekitantana Dandimawima. And these guys are just a color people caught in the trap of a color addiction. They are not a color wagon 5 week cargo. Ekamaku. At the end of the day, by me on take a stand to the Timana Wakamen Kurana Menuni Nufere and a Menuni Nufelana me. Nuni katrola kan udana me sikufiluang ekam gujehe do sikufiluang jehone wa gutaki the easiest way to do this is gram ekana egen diha pisada e gram ge agu cover ko fa inhas rufia cover ko fa then spare wa etikolo bolagen anekka ves rinse repeat alung e process fashion do me annani
mm.
survival la kuraka petto masale nudane though as long as there's drugs as an addiction problem and then this trafficking exists with jeka masale ngale this is addicts solving a problem without a color going over these mira personal line markers about feruma ekala kanka but how we are free to demonize them and says look mitbi addict unta mitbi emi higher of mihara miti dogs sabade emi oda fe we're going about this in the wrong way though completely.
Again, just like the migrant workers, they're going after the victims,
Mm,
and that's not the right approach in matters like this. And this drug addiction is a serious problem in our country. It has
mm,
always been for the last several years.
mm,
And I think there's also a lot of politics around it.
mm.
Rais Nasheed, when he wanted to treat these people as this issue as
As
a
patients,
medical,
yeah.
as healthcare, yeah. Like a bone there,
Ikaw miedo
bone,
establish
bone
science do ikaw okay.
It is science. It
Mm,
is. This is if you want to tackle a problem, tackle it in a way that works,
mm,
not in the way that you makes you feel good. Thus,
mm,
like Mehdi Ham, like Umar said,
mm.
just kill them all. That's not a solution. That's not how you tackle social
Addiction tere
problems.
addiction tere da miss ikala farugondu malangalun kala kameddo kinetto farugondu ufetuniya farugondu festowegen kunivi kinetto epanu
Ah,
bala malangandu ala warakangama epa irko e malangandu ala kwegen nama netter masala bosu an irkolakun gengri nalagen gunom metten e kala gotakaddo mi kan kuram miulani
because it's not an it's not a simple issue. That's why you need complex thinking.
Mm.
There is so many things that go in here. Even centralization, male to jehong, poor parenting, poor education. Mi huri ha acha fail wegen dom hisaba mi ati essa. Then hamaya mekkala is then just refuse to accept the science behind it. Just go and send sniffer dogs into somebody's house and uh, mop up. And that's not addressing the problem at all. That's how I feel.
Mm. No, you're absolutely right. Ekamaku acknowledge of me drug addiction naki me do arwen nang inge gotuga vulnerable me honna dimawa medical masale kan kapulu ko me honna treat ko gendo me kan halwan ekamaku den
Mm.
male magto kun crime ma hen echi natta lang arwen nang penge to misala ka Portugal ko kuri experiments ta kong now it's going on to 10 years plus then South America by gaum recently experiment kuram peshi me penge to take the drug market as ridiculous as that sounds huriha off the kike puna trafficking atu negi ma
Out
emi
of the
honna
illegal markets,
illegal
yeah.
market atu ufura di maka tene me ekan ekan kurane
Incentive
dorutta
and all that.
incentive enne to because it's no longer something you can make profit out of
Yeah.
then ane e counter ko me bunani do kudin in ane eron ane legal wima gosu bone me ni kameke e kamako e e e e wahaka public we e wakanka kurang hedima e treat kurang hedima nobody wants to be sick or labeled as someone with a disease එහෙම එයා විතර හාස්පාරු විශ්නානේ දෝ එඩියුකේට් වෙගෙන් එක නුකුරු මා රංගලු දෝ බිරු දක්කන් කමෙන් නුකුරු මොවුරේ
Jalala Farnetida,
Jalala
all that.
Farneti or something.
Yeah, maybe we don't.
Manavi long term got an impact in none do this.
Yeah, I think that's part of the problem. Kannenge. We don't uh, trust humans as uh, capable creatures if given the appropriate education and background knowledge. Because even in things like premarital sex, the teenage pregnancies, the ginavagambas, yeah, tell the teenagers how this thing works. That these are the dangers. These are what STDs are. These are what uh, how things work. This is how the real world works. I think there's going to be a more positive outcome than ekkala horiha foruwagen ekkala birudakkagen. Don't
Mige
tell the children about the
emme
sex.
ki
That's
tankolaki mashan emme ondabuwa tankolaki if you don't tell your children and then if you don't do the educating yourself magumati comments to someone else will and you don't have control emiha kiya deni kochetto noniya kinetto egan introduce koddeni akamaka and that intercept kurveni hame goteki that do it at home and we need to rise above miharu miule mental tanong to be able to do that and that's going to be
and
difficult.
And we already have the data to prove this. Like in the states, for instance, US covers teenage pregnancies and everything has come down
Mm.
consistently. Violent crimes have come down. And the only thing that they did was they started teaching children about these things.
Mm.
Mike, first warakang harukuri. Ano, deha sigara ga boda handambane. There was this multiple cases of fetuses and young children being abandoned in tin cans and stuff. Just like because A, you don't know enough about safe sex. B, you get pregnant and you're a child. You have nowhere to turn to. Fulung kare go se jalalan hospital go see angan. You can't go to your parents. At that point, what do you
Adoption
do?
processing otiki so that
There is no
and
social support, there
yeah,
is no legal
exactly.
support, there is nowhere you can turn to. And then this expresses itself as me burna. Like they think after there were multiple instances of this happening. And that was scary and that was sad. And I wrote about it. And I wrote saying we need more education. This is how we deal with it. And there was quite a
Dini gotum
at the Malay
birudakkagen ekan halluwana ekam nuisto already ei kinundo
exactly.
ekan hallu kurani goteki ekanka
Yeah,
masala ennuwegen ennundo harom nolen ekange
uh,
masala gotuka recognize ko ekam but there's a different approach to it.
yeah, workable. Halle hodantam
Mm.
like in a way that it works.
Mm.
US, if you remember, there, if you have read about it, there is the prohibition. It's quite famous.
Mm-mm.
They banned alcohol in the early part of the last century.
Yeah.
And what happened? The whole Italian mafia
Uh,
and
uh,
they keep on
bootleggers, smugglers, taka,
yeah,
illegal
and
club, taka.
hisabong ufediga nga Italian seba ka etaga.
Mm.
But this was, this, if you ban everything, if you forbid things, if you try to pretend things don't exist, there will always be people who profit off it. And that's just economics, that's just supply demand.
Anek insani to biya taki kamen no kurashe no niya ega annu lashe. We are an experienced-based creature. We would like to learn a kamen no kurashe buniki betovas through experience. We are definitely gonna do it.
Yeah,
A fact for them recognize kuram vido rather than a dogma belief we have to be more realistic about how we understand who humans are and how we are motivated to do things and how we interact with our environment.
yeah. I always have this trouble with this idea that if you are given freedom
Hmm.
to do something, then you will go a slippery slope because I'm at the extreme of it. It's like if rape were not a crime in the religion, or if murder was not a crime, then you would do it. That's not how it is. Like even if it were legal, I probably would not kill somebody or rape somebody or harm somebody. That is not how it works.
Hmm.
Because you need to have a color. I think with education, with good parenting, with good society and community comes values like empathy and kindness and gentleness.
Hmm.
You
They
don't need
can't be taught as separately. Look,
they can't be
empathetic wash.
forced onto you
Ah,
through
ah.
intimidation.
So yama kala herd immunity vaccine no wagota muli herd better wanjehani over time though
Yeah.
mithala masata halluwa.
So it's kind of sad that police do these things,
Hmm.
and Mikan Kuranja Kuramvi in a way that gets results. Go after the people who are running the show, not the actors in it. And then you will probably get better results if this is what the approach is going to be. Sniffer dogs. This is the picture I'm looking at is not a house of a major drug
No,
dealer or
no, no,
malicious
no.
person.
Definitely
Really.
not. This is just be your and life shita goske ngule me because addiction na uri ha check tere aranu gane again and that's how that person's life has just been reduced to run
Dan
down
ekkala
place.
higher kag gengos salan ekkala golia. Dan etanong misala kag gengos farna ekkala rehab. Nimi
Hmm.
geng masasa anekka sa anna ne hama ekkala gaya.
Hmm.
And the same society,
Hmm.
same
Hmm. Hmm.
everything. There's nothing has
Hmm.
changed in
And this
practice.
person is much more bitter and much more angry now because
Yeah,
now this person is vengeful.
yeah. And now like they're not rehabilitating the person. Is
Hmm.
my point. Things need to change around him. Also, it's not just take this person, put him in jail.
Hmm.
Drug has been solved. That's not how anything works.
No, it's not. Disease ko to recognize kuno koranya and me aru lola fen ne chenge kanyan me har mala hadam malani ena withdrawal diya me by fene do misala kan okay do sikwa for the do sikwa for hafta sikwa for then starts getting better 20 and a day work days where he's walking around and fine. Look, must be okay thing from then annani adabu de period though because kuring kuri kantang moral crime ka vegen adabudi nimma veng harvias de harvias tinga harvias adabudi ni mone then bear nikonna but addiction the disease doesn't recognize any of that so hama triggers the incidents that puts that person back into a moment la ready guys abong they you relapse again and that's not how it should be hitam mi on the ama ebbas vani timanna mother nuboname timanna rihe bashe dane noni withdraw wani and then they make these promises because they intend to keep Westme ekamaku they're never able to keep it. Why? Because it's not something that you can just go like mihem fix kora. It's a disease. You need to treat this disease.
How if I may ask, how did you get away from it?
Okay, Mashang eti wani okay my dad he was a supportive man at Opunanji, and he never appreciated. Obviously, he couldn't get over the fact that I had an addiction problem. My addiction period started when I was 13, experimenting with things. I was just bored, and other kids were doing it, and then I was a curious kid, so I went and tried this, tried that. And then by the time I would identify myself as an addict that is seriously eh, eh, having a problem, I probably would have been 17 or 18. Then when I went for studies overseas, I was 20 and I'm 19. I went to Australia, whole turkey clean. That didn't work out because I was actually going to make a video about addiction and then tell my story, but now you just sort of
Ruined it.
ruined it for me. The me me I started realizing when I went there and then Kundiaka withdraw that I was having difficulty understanding the world around me. Hey, my formative years, and I would later realize, my formative years, ma dannam peshi duniya, bodo monganero duniya vaagota. It was clouded. So my understanding of the universe was pretty off reality. Then if could remove kurima, reality starts setting in masha
So you
hope
had trouble
yeah
dealing with reality.
hope no kureva then I did a I told my dad, look, I can't continue. I was first year university, and the exams were coming up, and if I messed up the exams, I would have to be responsible for pay job and then so it's about Nogos Mavani look I need help. And then he was supportive. He got me back and then got me enrolled with some professional help Malaysia. And then I got myself out of it. Buru. Then I went back to study is Engar Fahong, then did my degree. And then Rajya Ngamburai 2006, as 2007, I had a relapse again.
Yeah. Okay. But was it because you could get it easily, or were you hanging out with people who were doing it and felt this pressure, or it's like just
What about clean year? And 2000, my 20-year-old from 20-year-old clean kongure akoruno boy 27 na hame as to relapse and then a relapse aragan miharu fasaharu maybe araganta. But now I've made a point that Raj is actually a trigger kama. Then Raj ekam kevara bodu masata muligam trigger ekavundo. Me ekam asami wagata ki maladiya there's nothing to do, nothing to keep me engaged, my mind active. Enough in the social environments aren't conducive, people aren't friendly, we're not doing social gatherings to actually socialize in a meaningful way. Every massa takuge terendem you start flashbacking into when things were easier number kominna. Etanong kannega alum funny watangkolo annanido. Then ekam asugani kutumuge emme bodu echekobani that realization is this. There's three things that would happen in the deep addiction. There's three ways that will end. There's no doubts about it. Either you end up jaluga, or you die, overdose, or you are in the gutter somewhere because your life's shit. No, me think outcome acceptable and known mage life nimeka. That moment realization mashanga the next steps were just very easier to take.
And we could say you had the sort of education or background, so the ability to pick yourself out of the situation and make a better life out of it. So, but what about, just imagine if you were like a high school dropout and didn't have family support. In your case you had a dad support you and put you through treatment and stuff. How do you think would have that been different? Because that's what most people find themselves in kanneka. where you don't really have the means to get yourself out of this situation and get yourself, you know,
So
because
aim with your
your
society
upbringing has
itself
failed.
should help that. When
Yeah,
your
that is
family
what I was coming.
fails, your society should help
So when
and rise.
society has failed to provide you the background that the education or the support system that the community is supposed to give you, it is not a single individual's failure. Instead of criminalizing this one person or this individual, why not take a community-based approach to rehabilitating this person and fixing the things in society that caused this in the first place? Um, that was just other thoughts. I mean, I have never, been into drugs or anything, but I have so many friends who've been through it, and I can sort of see this is, I don't envy the people who are unable to get out of it, is what I'm saying.
No, it's not, and I feel a lot of sadness for those who would probably never get out of this. ඒකමක එහෙන් ඒ මස්සල හල්ලු කුරම් වෙස් වශයෙන් ජෙහෙනි දෝ මි මස්සලය දෙකේ ගෙ බදලු වෙගෙන් දෝ වානි. And then it is not a moral failing and nunkama mihek addiction atani, that there are other factors involved, and those factors need to be addressed before you can actually begin to tackle this in a meaningful way. Etana sikundi nugo hemmasa hallu kurani with this. I have no idea how you'd go about solving this problem.
All right, to be fair, I don't even pretend to know all the answers or anything, but I just know that this thing that they're doing is not working. That's
No,
how
it's
much I know.
not. It's not working. And decriminalization is such a loaded word. ඒගේ ෆහතුග හුරි අනේ චිත මිහුණ කියානුදී educate නොකොද්දී එවාක දෙක්කීම ඉස්තන් අරානිදෝ මොළනි හුරි හැමන මස්තු වාශේ කර රාලාශේ නොනේ අන්නේ එකල ගංජා බොණී it's but quickly you'd spin this around into something that it's not, because ඉදිකොළගුරු මිහාග political වෙනමක මුලින් narrative hijack කරා.
That actually ties in very well with the next story that I had. I just reminded me, like, that's the easy way out for everything. Visalaka, the matter of the sovereign bonds, the million and before that they took multiple $50 million loans on undisclosed terms from certain Middle Eastern donors, and then another 800 million for the airport from China, or not 800 million, but 800 million split between different sources. And how are we going to repay this again? 300 million for the bridge, and I don't know.
Adi visna be me have 300 million nagala spend hokken if we have a bridge situation, and matama yamen verikam ganeti bridge fee dan duwa level ari west ko fee adi kontak je.
That is actually I don't think. Yeah, people seem to forget, but Nasheed also promised not one bridge. I think he promised like 7 or 11 bridges. I've seen this, and nobody talks about it, but I clearly remember him saying we're going to build this many bridges. But Yameen when image and the problem is not the bridge. The problem is sustainability of things. I mean, of all the things, we have maybe 20 things on our list of national issues to fix. The bridge doesn't belong at 1 or 2. We have far bigger things to spend on healthcare and connectivity and education and
I mean, I agree with all of that, and if I was running the administration, I wouldn't have started the bridge. Bridge ever a masake kuri, but then I understand it is money that could be spent elsewhere doing better things.
Like, you're not going to save any money from destroying the bridge.
Exactly, it's such a waste. We have to rethink about how we see this bridge.
But I was what I was coming to was basically if you criticize anything about the bridge or the airport, then the easiest response again would be Dine kya panikabis me ko message check which was what I came to next.
Mm.
Because I think Gam Islam with was also last week,
Mm.
and yeah, Yamin says Kalahama and Dina Kafurusatan no there and whether nobody even asked, like we know it's not going to happen though, just
This is
you
a
don't have to
non-issue
reiterate
though,
it.
politically active me who must ask the
Yeah,
Mashan.
nobody in this country, no politician in the Maldives is going to Mother unilaterally bring freedom
Uh,
of religion. That is
uh,
not going to
it
happen.
would
Stop
be
worrying about it.
political suicide.
For instance, all these loans that they're taking, like
Uh,
billions, and you actually
but
have to
it's
pay
such a
back.
distraction, a solid distraction. Addo ekkala boogeyman mi annani deen gelluvalando in the meantime I had $200 ge ekkala bonds
Really,
ikkala.
but like when there's a serious actual issue facing you, हम कुल like ए भला शेकला एहन दिन तक मैं फुर्सत देने ये दा
Hama yeah, pasi agane ka distract wegen ha medimala bali.
भला डायरेक्ट कस like ए थे दे के दा यार at least the worst case, even if my electricity bill is twice as high, if my rent is gone up, even if the food is unaffordable, at the very least Yahudin tag falliyaলাগে that is not an issue. That was never going to be an issue for the next 20, 30 years. But that was what people use politicians as a distraction, and people fall for it every single time, Rajek. Like they wanted
To an
GMR to fall.
embarrassing level of it and the
Yeah, and that bothers me so much, the fact that this is consistently used.
me tama
Everybody.
visualize kollange misaga kuda kuda bulale da me mati mati mi echen ha telu alli me gola mi ngada hi fa e fa da hinge you just
That is
do it.
exactly what Dean is, Rajjaga, as
uh,
far as politicians are concerned. And I have put a picture, and this picture, I don't know if anybody remembers me. Tehas Teravan Aharuga, Intehabu Terega. I think Atarat part, and then I think it was Imran in particular, but I'm not sure. One of the top mullahs in that party called Nasheed Ladini, and I think the elections commissioner complained saying that you cannot use that kind of rhetoric in an election. And they released a huge report about how Ladini does not mean atheistic, which is news to me, but because that's how they normally mean it, although it doesn't. So it says Ladini doesn't mean atheist killer. Then they put up this picture of Nasheed unveiling the Sri Lankan lion thing monument. In the sky, there is this picture of Mustafa Kemal Pasha. There's a secular icon, and a very image at the end. Hito me color me Photoshop ko rice nashe keladi ne effort kiya tha. And this is so stupid on so many levels. Like, this picture is harmless. There is nothing going on in here. The only bad thing about it is the graphics. and and the people who look at this and get outraged, I don't know what they're thinking. This is just a picture of two presidents unveiling a monument, and then there's another picture of another president in the background. And
I don't think anybody is actually stupid enough to go like mean the color do kalange kale chike me pinya
no, but people
if
protested.
side
They
at the amakul
destroyed one of the
dekanga.
monuments and not the. Remember?
I know, but to think that anybody would
Like, it's just a stupid statue, like Buddha Keta. Like,
if
what
you
comes
take
of
that
that? Like, you don't
seriously
have to
as
worship.
something that is threatening to you, there's something wrong with you and how you see the world. Hey, mashangi wa.
Like, I've written about this before. I don't think actual Christians really get that energized at looking at a cross that hey, so so what? Like,
Make a vampire, yes, so it burns, it burns, you know.
and that is not a problem. Like, calm down and look at it, and you're still a Muslim at the end of it. You're fine. This is
Dina
not going to
badalannu
affect.
anado I mean kulliya me evaporate vaachaddo dina ki.
Think that shows off a lot of insecurity, Kannega. Like, I look at it, I still believe the same thing I believe at the end of it. This is just a picture of us. I mean, Adivis, and there was one of uh, the monuments in Addu was Indian Gaumi emblem. There were four lions facing out. And that thing is still there. India embassy Dormati Kadivisinane, and nobody's lost their religion over that. Then why does the monument in Addu have a bigger effect? I was like, there's no logic in this. Like, stop getting distracted by non-issues that the politicians want you to be distracted by. Think for yourself. And then,
But it was
I
hard,
just
Chan,
think it's
because
so funny that it's
we're so used to following people rather than issues. Inga me concept was that ये करने है बस को दें दिपहिन्ना हम also what is working on issues and what is नहीं के फादम do that
what.
seems to be lost right now.
Okay, maybe the question to ask is, can you bring me the first, say, a list of 5 people who lost their Agida or Deen after looking at this monument? And I bet you can't find one. But if you there's,
Me
I
ago
think
dina gabul kurani ha the deep level like ene egtere vani ma do denga ma me evaporate wago that photo if neva gelle vechya.
and this belief that somebody else might worship. I don't even know what that is. That is a lion. That is Sri Lanka. That lion. The holding up. That is what it is. And
It's the
why is
national
I don't
emblem
think
line.
even the Sri Lanka's people worship it. It is
No,
not a god. It's just an
it's
animal.
a representation of
But
power
this
or
was
something. I don't
controversial
know.
enough for somebody to put it up on a report thing. And I found that comical. I find it sad, and I find it to be a very effective tool in the hands of governments and politicians to distract people. For instance, in this case, the reiterating that Hindi and yeah, I don't think that's what Islam then also says. I don't think, and then the same clerics will also say that Islam didn't have this imposition of any sort, and then they say Hindi naka jage and
Yeah, there's a contradiction right there as well.
it's inherent contradiction. But uh, personally, I don't believe Rajya there will be freedom of religion in the next 20 or 30 years.
I think that would be the wrong
And I
approach
don't think this is
करने
going to be an issue anytime soon.
के.
But
මේ මස්සලයක මෙවල වකි තීනක නෝඩේ ගන්න මස්සලයක එහෙන් පෑවර එහෙන් අද්භුත ගෙල්ලිගෙන් මුස්ලිමුන් ගොතුක තිබෙගෙන් දිපෙන්ජේ අද්භුත බස් නොදිබෙගෙන් මෙවලනේ ඒවාහක දක්කා ඒති ෆෝරම් වෙගෙන් boogie man that somehow religion badal kuramshe who does that?
and that and then like I said in our last discussion was the fact that the state controls the mosque and uses it as a propaganda tool is an insult to Muslims, in my opinion. Like, why should Abdullah Yamin and his cabinet and his appointees decide to get the right to decide what you should believe in, what Islam is? It is not his
Secularism
property.
the strongest argument and you cannot be the Muslim that you choose to be. And if you don't have a secular kaum, 72 sects Yamin's version of religion or Yamin near the point of a
Forget Yamin,
oh,
Saka. Maumun dos Urvasmi Farid Gangostum Chilis Haka Tumboli Bailey. That is what we were still a Muslim country at that point. What changed? They wanted the Misaka Farid very coming as Maumun and Negadan. This is not how religion fits into community. It is not a political tool. But that is what it is, and that's what we've been talking about for years. That's what Rilvan has been talking about, had been talking about for years. And Adivis Ekalami Rilvan, we are well 880 days. So this is the society we live in. We need to acknowledge it and look at it and see what it is and accept it. It's not very pretty, but it is
factual that acknowledging awaguttaki aguittani nuniya ladugannani nuniya bezaruwani ekala insecure superficial massata alaganege nettennengi mewalani do
Then Divesaka Veggie, like
Ah.
we always have this Divehin. I don't know. There's this very special term we use. Divehing about this Divehing Gotagams. What is that, cowardly and subjugated, or what? You need to get out of that shell and face reality and accept that yes, we have these problems. We have done these things wrong in the past. We need to give more. And I don't know why Salafists and these people in particular, oppose this idea of, yeah, the state need not control the mosques. You can control your mosques. You can have your own prayers and the way you want it. The state should not interfere with this. We are empowering you.
Hmm.
Stop disagreeing. Come on, the thing is, everybody at the end of the day wants totalitarian control.
ඒත්
Why
කොන්ට්‍රෝල්
does not?
හොදාව අනෙක
Ah,
මච්චන් ඉම්පෝස් කුරන් එහෙන නොවානද
Amilla Tumbole chili sauce bala heke me kocha aka beli dos handare
හන්දාන
namma
නොන්න
hisa.
නම just repeat
Yeah,
ඒගේ hem
I'll
version
just
of
do
it.
this to the other guy.
Yeah.
So that is so sad. Yeah, I think we are almost at the end.
Okay, so we are now Veshify flat
So we have we have established that we have a lot of millions of dollars in undisclosed terms. We don't know how much interest we're going to pay. It could be commercial 18% rate. I don't know, but we have to pay this back at the bridge earliest. Kada Kanseris Buriga Marathon earliest. All of this actually costs us money, which we might not have. Lanka is demarking Mikanta. Like under Rajapaksa, they took billions in loans and built highways and bridges and airports in the middle of a jungle.
I'm not familiar with a deep story.
So yeah, Rajapaksa was from this part of Sri Lanka, the southern. He wanted his part of the country to develop as well. So he built this really fancy airport with Chinese loans in the middle of a jungle.
Okay.
And he made the national airline have a secondary hub in that airport. And of course nobody went there because it is middle of the jungle. Like you don't have international flights there. So he operated on this mentality that if you build it, they will come, and they never came. So now the Sri Lankan economy, which should have been doing fine because the war has ended, instead they are paying, like, I think out of every $100 they get, 90 of that is
potential government has to be though. The post-war potential boom was supposed to be.
And then Mihar, China, they are swapping this debt for equity. Basically, they're taking ownership of these ports and these airports and this infrastructure, the critical center, and
that is dangerous. Dangerous.
That's how it's happening. Because once you owe somebody money, you have to pay them. That's how it is.
But China is doing that on purpose, though, sort of like a loan sharking kind of thing, because they're using
all this excess money. They have all this foreign reserves. Some of them, they know that we're not going to make 300 million off the bridge or 800 million from this airport, but that's. That maybe it's this short-term thinking, like at least I'll like it's like if I offer you, do you want 200 rupiah now, or do you want 250 rupiah over the course of next year that I'll give you in small increments? Most people, I just want the 200 rupiah now, because we humans are wired that way. We want a quick and
a simple, quick gratification.
Quick gratification. That's exactly the word. And we need to know that we actually have to pay all of this back, and Yameen won't be the one paying. He's the one just taking it. We are the ones who will be paying it back, and that actually bothers me, because Nihar's dollar rate, like, officially is still 15.42, but you can't get it for 17.20. That's how bad it's got. Nihar's float kolla fi ati daanikanne 23-24 angare. It's just doesn't look good.
So I think we have 4 more stories to cover. We are at 1 hour 20.
And then the other stories are somewhat positive, so hopefully.
Veshify flat.
I know. what did you think about it? Because I saw the headline. Sarakaram ulle nekkala shifahi program ga dashon ekore binta ane bedukofarik
එක
kansheka.
මාලෙන් එක බින්තද්ද ඒ ෆ්ලැට
Male.
දේන මේ කියාප අංකොල කුදි කුදි පුලොට තන් හුරීම දුබ්බාලම් වෙගෙන් දෙමෙ රේචිත වික්කනි අඹරා
Icheta aldon hammarajatana vikkale mekkada shifahi male. The whole point is
ඒ
undermined.
දියේ නොන්ද ඒ හිසාබුන් එකන්ත what could they have really done with these plots of lands that is useful other than මෙබනේ අලුම් අඹරා මිහොන
Yeah.
වෙනුමස්
So
වෙනක්කන්
I
දෙපාට
read the
වික්කුමට බදව
article. So it wasn't as bad as I thought it was. At least on in theory, in game mechanic. Because according to their guidelines, Mihar not Horihabi Medda, they're only selling the land that cannot be used as green area or a parking space. Aslami maling ekwa korai binta misaka parking lot and what parking hadang edo anehem beenum kore. But misaka huredan hani goli gande terem badegen gosa hori kuda bema. You can't use that as public land much. ඒක බදලු ජෙහිගෙන් හොරි ගෙමී හා මිසාලක ඒනගේ බිම් වික්කැෆේ ඒනගේ ජාග
ඒනගේ ගෝති පොඩුවන
I
that's
think
okay
it made
කන්නේ
sense to me, but I don't know how it's going to work in real life. Like, I mean, if they want money, they'll just sell everything. But
එවර වියට වනද මෙමිහ තංකොල වික්කයා බට්ටා ජීගෙන් උන්න ගේ මිහාය වික්කයාගේ because you know ජීගෙන් උන්න ගේ මිහාය රට්ටි ගොල්ල වික්කන් උන්න මිහාගේ සමහර
no,
කනෙක්ෂන්
they
ඇලන්ජෙන
did say
බේරු
that in the guidelines it does say that there's a preference for adjacent neighborhoods. Then he can expand and build a proper house. There are very tiny plots of land and they just built vertically up like singles room apartments. So it's sort of like how people already do it sometimes. They sort of combine it and raise it up and then divide the floors between themselves, so you get more, I don't know, square footage. I think I thought that made sense a bit. So this is something I'm not entirely criticizing.
So but then this is about implementation ga cheat nuko ratti mihaya ane goche nudi ekan coffee ado there's a lot of if mita kuruma
Guidelines I got the Gangasvi. I think it makes sense. Because you don't need to keep it empty just because you acquired it. In this case, to the neighbor, and then use that money for something else. And then similarly, in a surprisingly thoughtful thing, I think Ministry of Health Hinga Horia Hospital, they banned energy drinks, and the Ministry of Education banned it in schools. And I thought that was decent because we have this huge Red Bull energy drinks culture.
I have something to add once you're done. Masha me adetrege me approach kuri gote ham asu kamakonote. Me one thing mami nani Asia me faliga me olero I get to meet a lot of exporters right. And then this thing me December ga ekko mole ane on and off ko bodu ko deke gonu wahake eddo then me energy drink ban kora wahaka. So what they're doing is they're going after energy drink label though this energy drink label is it's not a clearly defined ingredient listed ban kuraniki though
I don't know the details of it.
Me
Far as I know, it's energy drinks category of all Excel, Red Bull. I don't think it's defined by. Maybe it's just if you market it as an energy drink, like Red Bull, like Excel.
Man, me bunamula wahake ki mikolo me di mavi buying exporters. They are now getting ready to repackage, rebrand this thing. Alum malia vadda the same product because you know me are me netuga nala ganna gota ready one. So you have to go.
Really?
You have to go after specific ingredients and say, look, me ingredients, me here dose gay harmful money, because a lot of this is chemicals. Everything is chemicals. Duniya everything. but it's a combination of chemicals mihin ediva mihin wage kamanugas kemmol and me degree ga mihin kamanugas kemmol and so you have to go after banning me x
So
amount of
I'm
ingredients.
not sure if the ban is about energy drinks, just the word, or I think what you're saying is we need to define what constitutes energy drinks. Now,
Yeah,
that's fair. I think, I mean, let's look at the results, and if
because
that's how it's going to
seriously
be,
these guys are going to factories to repackage and relabel I mean the next shipment again one.
Kuchiki having concoction
I
of
don't
weekend.
know. I don't know. Maybe it could just
Like a
be.
weekend there.
It could just be a laboratory tested well-being juice,
Electrolytes thing.
electrolyte juice or well-being juice or miola nekala me vugolanta me vegetable drinks me chike cancer kio e kala ba or label kuruma dorhulu
At
vene mage
least the
ganna.
bigger brands, I don't foresee misal like a Red Bull changing the cans to something else too, because they have a huge. They do these things where they give free courses on how to prepare mixed drinks and stuff, and they give away certificates, and they have really good marketing.
Mixologist na chisang hadalo.
Yeah, yeah. So they make other things from Red Bull, and then consequently they sell more Red Bull. And I know this because I used to drink a lot of Red Bull, like a lot. I used to work through the night sometimes, and if we had Damo, I would always grab the Rigo Hondanera Al Fresco and just get a couple of cans of Red Bull, and then I would drink through the night. And then this one time, I think it's like I just came back after a weekend, and then I looked at my desk. It was covered with cans of Red Bull, and that's when I thought, "Holy shit, I need to stop." And I've been like, a lot more disciplined after that. I've cut down to almost nothing. I know I don't drink energy drinks.
No,
And
I
that's
haven't.
incidentally how I
I
start.
an addiction of berum utere baver ka chitam durwanje, so I don't go around drinking eh,
And
anything
I
that
don't even
alters.
necessarily like the taste of it. I think I started because of marketing. Uh,
I like the taste.
we
Yeah.
used we we used to be in college, and we would organize these events and stuff. And I was in the organizing team. I never invited Red Bull for anything. I come, a million ingigeng anna the venue. And then they had this like really pretty girls with bags full of Red Bull, and they come and then they give it to you kind of, then they give you this marketing speak, and then in a hot day when you're running around, somebody comes, and especially some pretty girl comes and gives you a can of Red Bull and says, have it. Then you have it. I got the hile. They have like a can living for hung. I just got used to it. And then
Yeah,
I
kala
guess when you
me
want, I know the taste
addiction
of that. I
hada
understand that.
vagotan so hile tikolo digen
Exactly. They
sikku
give you
sikku
the
kolla
free
va dengere kolko
Sikubola. Then,
vikkenje.
yeah, that's exactly how they roped me in, and I must have made them a lot of money. But now I stopped, and now I feel disturbed when I see small kids, especially Fasahar coding on the road with their cans of Red Bull. I was like, no, that's not right. Yeah, so I think I approve of this uh, ban, and I think what you said is fair. Look, tangkol detail kapaki
Define
ingredients
one,
take
yeah. Though, at
define one.
what quantities and at what combinations though goes one.
Hmm. Hey, Rajega Furatama, Dini TV channel Taraf Cafe. Aneka.
I knew that was going to come. Anik.
So the almost like public service media is that PSM has launched Munnar TV, and this is supposedly the first Islamic TV channel. The cooling was over the MBTV ki achane kochen hemaji.
नहीं अटोल टीवी ये बस क्या जो से
At all, right?
अटोल but अटोल
No,
channel
MVTV.
that is
More than Google, though, Korea. I don't really watch TV, so I don't really know. I never seen MVTV broadcast anything, but I've heard people talk about it. And Google called the Remiham website was main the only Islamic TV channel in the Maldives. So I was like, maybe the PSM people don't watch TV, or they only watch their own thing. Yeah, and this is not.
I mean just to be clear this is not about an Islamic TV channel yang ada kan nonda hendak jadi furutama hame kan TV channel apa tu sekia rinse repeat wa fashati itu ini deke that there
Mika
are
dia
other.
Surido and they
Mm,
may have the best network and
mm.
no, one of them uses the best network and the other uses the superior network. I was like, no, you can't both be best though.
Yeah.
Or you can't both be first.
ಗೊತ್ತದ್ದು.
uh, and then to be clear, I
The
actually had
nuwaste kaharwi Islamic government ka me TV hidmet data tiri sali sar bidan karne ka to there's no Islamic channel dedicated hendo epulani.
but
That can't be
I
true.
have heard, isn't under some interpretations of Islam videos are haram? Like you can't really capture images, and I know people who don't look at the TV, they cover their eyes, and because haram you can't
Asuta.
capture.
Asu.
So
So how? So what are they doing? Are they just listening?
no,
Yeah.
they just avoid the demon TV. The kala me,
But then
they just
habaruba damage just listen.
habaran ubagani kan radio and aduhang okay kan
Right.
I mean, but they don't watch. Kala me if they pass through the room, they just don't look at it. I've seen people who do that. But the funniest thing I've ever seen was a guy on TV talking about how photography was haram. Right, like still images are haram, but like videos are just a lot of still images at what 30 FPS.
Yeah.
So it's
High
like
frame
imagine
rates.
how sinful you are being right now. Though it's like at 30 frames per second, like frequency and you're sinning. You're like really messed up.
Right.
uh, but like we're an Islamic comment. Even I think every TV channel in the country has religious content. Dini, nasihat dinuma, radio takun. I mean,
And that is
that's
expected because it's a Muslim government, and then
yeah.
Muslimum uletanege Muslimum content ga religiosity.
Except it's not necessarily the broad Islamic content. It is a very narrow Saudi Wahhabi
Ah ah
content that
ah.
we get as Islam. That's
Eita
what people think
masale
of as
gitu.
Islam anymore. Yeah. But then I should not talk about it because I'm not a trained
Yeah,
Islamic scholar.
because
Only the Saudis are.
I can't give
Yeah.
credentials that Kashipuna Fiamatakas credentials and everything.
Hey, they Menk irreligious. There are people who call Tariq Ramadan is not a scholar. He has a PhD and everything, and he's a professor of it. So it's like, if you agree with me, if you are somebody who heard me Darus once and then grew a beard and wear a cap, then you're an Islamic scholar, but not Tariq Ramadan, not Mufti Menk.
Oh, university entire career in Harad I had a cook game naga fast doesn't count.
India's Zakir Naik is in a bit of trouble. And as a money laundering, and he got
Peace
caught
TV
up.
through Kodo.
Yeah. And his organization has been banned in India. He's a fugitive from the law, Mihar, in India.
I recently heard in Malaysia in a refugee
So
home.
people were asking like, why is the Malay government allowing it? And then, it's Malaysia. So, but yeah,
Weird
this is
country.
the known con man. Anyways, aslu Rajya Gena and the Ministry of Islamic
Ena
Affairs.
Vicky engirenge Islamic smartphone ekava Android gama sida logo jaw ikkadi.
That's what that guy does. He makes money off selling people, religion, and that's his business. He's not a trained Islamic scholar. He's not a published academic. He has no known academic works, and this is what he does. He has his TV show. He speaks. He entertains people. He's like Islamic entertainment, and he makes money off of these gullible people. And I know this because I was in India, and come Rajya ngena genasa ena introduce koddini divehenna India hori emme mi molo ilmu veriya gottadda.
We're easily impressed by people anyways. Yeah.
And this guy is a cartoon. There are like actual seminaries in India that have released fatwas against him, saying he's not a religious scholar, that things he says should not be considered scholarly opinion. And these are the conservatives, the Deobandis and stuff. And there are states in India. India ke Muslim angina state kan UP ke. He's actually banned from speaking there. And because the Muslims in that state didn't want him to come there. So this is the guy even before he came to Mali, all of this was true. And now he's caught in the law. He's a fugitive running from the law. They found some links with some terrorists, and a lot of financial irregularities, the money laundering through his families and connections. So just thought I would bring that up since you were talking about Islamic TVs. And then
So we have the last story about
let's
the health
this is
minister implementing, giving jobs for disabled
no, I don't
differently.
think it was the health minister doing it
Oh,
necessarily,
really?
but she was present at the venue. It was Fenaka. How do you pronounce that?
Fenaka or
Fena.
Fenaka. I
Okay,
think.
I have no idea how to pronounce. I've only seen that ever in text. Yeah. So they have. What does that mean?
Ei, ane bahig ane Fenna eheng etchaka guluang ada Fenna combined word company එක නම එන්න.
Fenaka.
Ah.
So yeah, so they have hired 100 people with disabilities, given them jobs in different islands. I thought that was very cool, Aslo.
Did you see the report on Raja TV? Was it? PSM reported. There was a report on PSM about how I was actually expecting that you would have seen it and then kept an embed of it. මේ වාගතකි මේ මිතිබ නුකුලද මේ හුන්දාක වසීෆා දීපී මේ බලා බලා ශකියාවත කැමරායි බෑගේ ගොස දක්කරේ මයි කාරේ පුරුත්තමයි හිඩි. Then I just felt sorry for the person who scripted the thing though.
Yeah,
Because
no, so
see,
that's
what they're trying to show was that look, these people are, the message was right that they are humans and we should have equal opportunities for them, but they somehow was showing them as look how we've taken care of these
kind of a
disabled.
harsh focus at them, like oh, look at their disabilities.
They adi comment tag responde look mean sama computer ava sama hemme kula like like
Look, these people are
it was
practically
on
human beings. though.
PR practically humans and look they're capable ekale chijisi my care hidi purutama denga avi tera do it's there on PSM
Yeah.
Facebook page.
See, that's. But I like the fact that they chose to do this. It is not just symbolic, though. Like they're employing, say, 100 people, and including them. Because I was at a human rights seminar once, and they did cover the disabled peoples and the challenges that are felt by them. And there is an organization that does that in the Maldives as well. And when you hear from people, actual disabled people, the sort of challenges that face regular contact and like anybody can withdraw money and anybody can go around and do their shopping, but their office doesn't have a disabled people friendly toilet, or the bank ATM doesn't have a ramp you can climb up. So things that you can do yourself, you can't, because there's no design, there's no building code that is inclusive for people who can otherwise take care of themselves. Just get these
Design as
fundamentals
a
right.
concept of problem solving we're not even there yet.
So I asked BML on Twitter on like what are you doing about this, and they said their new ATMs are all disabled friendly, but I think most of them perhaps, but definitely not all of them, because I saw one with just stairs leading up to it. So there are certain simple things, and that made me think that these are things that we do not think regularly though. It's like, okay, I can go to the office toilet and so on, but this is like accessibility issues and so is employment. My brother has a hearing disability and he can't speak sibilant sounds, but he is an otherwise perfectly smart guy. But the thing is, for him to be gainfully employed, there are certain barriers that he needs to cross, the social communication wise, but then he does his animation and cartoons and stuff. So now he's with Care Society and he's actually happy there. He does things on their social media and stuff. But the thing is, I think this message of inclusivity that the government is doing is thoughtful.
It is thoughtful.
I really appreciate that.
I mean, it's out of character for what we expect them to do.
You don't expect them to do something like this. This is thoughtful. And the fact that they did, I thought was very interesting. I think in the last time we spoke also, the ministers, Anisha, she had a message where she was
Doing
using
sign
sign
language,
language to
yeah.
communicate, and that was also very, very thoughtful. So yeah, I thought I had to mention that. So yeah.
Me wahaka dekki menge just one comment. Me i- i- is it an extension of treating people different different me honna tafatu ko treat kurum extension ekaddo ha mi veswani about differently able to me hon fruta mechke is it in on that same is the same sort of thing hai
Well,
ye.
not quite the same. In case of, say, if you're somebody, or like if your neighbor is on a wheelchair, you might not, put him in a room with five other disabled people and,
Mm,
lock them up.
mm, mm,
But
mm.
at the same time, you might not go there because these are people who need additional aids
Mm.
than normal. The
So empathy
Ane
da kame
ihan
annani.
mikurakanake normal achievers nudene dam
Mm.
kine. So we're depriving one sect of people of like the baseline that we hold for
Mm, mm,
ourselves.
mm,
But in the other case, I think we sort of had to step a little more than we, do for ourselves. So that difference I kind of make. But generally, yeah, you need to be more thoughtful because this is
Bunam
something
mule
I.
cheki sorry. Ma bunam
I'll just
mule
finish this one thing.
okay, you finish. You go.
Sorry about that.
Yeah.
I just because I am somebody who, I don't know, I think talks about, generally rights and stuff. But even for me, it was because I had never thought about disabled people and the challenges they face some day-to-day content until somebody told me, and that was very moving to me because I really, really didn't think of the ramps and stuff. I know the concept there, but me like just shopping and things that you cannot do. You go to a meeting in an office and you can't go to the toilet. This is actually a huge barrier, and this is something that these people live with every day. I think even I personally have failed to quite understand that until very recently. So yeah.
Me deke go badal kurum fashani furta manum bas empathetic ko anemmi hage fa anemmi hage footsteps goskem by no ne do we start at how we ekala ewahaka phrase kura gota dekeve gota hisab fashan misala ka nu kulle de mi hai bunima we were saying that me are ena kule dinu menne the ena ge abil kamenne the no ni misala ka differently abled mi hai rather than disabled bunima
Hmm.
තෆාතුවා ගොතක් එහෙන් දිවෙහි ලැන්ග්වේජ් on අස්වේ කන් කුරානි මුතේ මොනි initially වන්නානි ෆුටින් ද ඩෝ
Hmm.
හදානි ගොතේ අස්වේ බය බය විතේරි.
Yeah, in English, the words have changed. It used to be cripple and blind, and now it's changed. Later, it became disabled, and then it became differently abled.
Label.
You know, you used to call people retards. Now that mentally challenged.
Mm-mm.
So yeah, there are like more sensitivity in the way you use words because original words ke context padalo munda. But I'm not sure if Divehi Nukulade is sort of, I don't know, a negative word in the sense that does it evoke sympathy or does it evoke mockery? I don't think it evokes mockery in Divehi.
But is sympathy what as someone who is
No,
differently able to need is it
no.
understanding they want?
No, no. What I meant is, if you call somebody a retard,
Of
then
course.
you're like mocking them,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
That's why
definitely.
the word had to be changed.
Mm.
But if you say somebody is Nukula, then maybe you're not recognizing his abilities. Perhaps that is true.
But you're still not mocking
Uh,
him.
I don't think we're
Mm.
mocking them. I mean, I don't know. The Divehi bus is not very rich. That's why we're
Mm.
mostly speaking in Divehi Mihar. But yeah, I feel like um, I think yeah, there is room for more sensitivity, but it's not just in language; it's also in the conversation around it. Though, does that make sense?
No, it does, it does. But I was just thinking, foot in the door,
What do
hada
you
for
have a
fashani
word in
konta
mind,
konta.
Ane?
No, I don't have a word in mind. It's not that I had a word in mind.
By
And
Mufadda.
me differently abled, a disabled, hamad. And mixer
No,
Allah for nega for aba heddo, hama same bus do me benung kurani. Just phrase
yeah,
kuragwetta fat do.
yeah, you're not completely useless. Though you
Hmm.
you might not be able to. hear very well, but
Hmm.
you're perfectly good at this
Yeah, you
99 other.
speaking with your brother's case, though, Gabil, just because he has difficulty hearing doesn't discredit him as a person and his abilities or emotions.
Hmm.
You know.
Yeah, so like otherwise you're like perfectly, you can think fine, you can feel fine, you can do things. It's like just this one thing,
Hmm.
or not having a hand or not having a leg
Hmm.
doesn't really make you. I mean, this might have been true like 1,000 years ago, but
But
today's
today's
society
society,
yeah,
it's just a okay
you can complete it
hindrance
very
or
well.
an inconvenience. But sometimes inconvenience of Vishnu, if someone who didn't even have that in the beginning,
Mm,
don't even see that as an inconvenience because they don't know any different.
yeah, and we do have a quite significant number of people who live with some disability or the other. Hemvema. I think yeah, but I feel that this was a very positive
No,
thing
it is.
that.
It is. There's a shift happening somewhere at policy level that is recognizing in that we need to deal this differently, and then Zenisha maybe seems to be at the front of that somehow. So that's good things must be acknowledged, and we should recognize.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think we've way past one hour
Right.
target
Yeah.
again.
We are at 150. Wow.
Yeah, I think we need to be more disciplined again. Me and Haftaga.
We'll try
Uh,
again, but was much better on staying on topic or within those parameters of the topic than the
than the
last
last
time.
time.
Yes.
We're getting better at this, madam. Madam.
Uh,
Then at the end of the make a thing episode for Humble in Divehin no come back at the
no, me
carnivals.
madu madu me frame
Uh,
ngelam.
Ekkada
So
proportion, ekkada increase among us. I'm a proportion increase among. That was a Divehi English. I always you use English words with Divehi grammar, then it becomes Divehi.
uh, but this is an
Uh,
unavoidable turning. That's a whole different conversation. But this is going to
yeah.
be a Maldives English bastardization about to happen.
Here's what
Seriously.
I think about it. Inge, me Nihar, Duniega, Hurihatanenkaves, podcasting by or this is a very niche market.
Mm-mm.
And like, even in like perfectly advanced countries with huge broadband and accessibility. Ega theorem is video, mihen de mihon vahakadakka tambalana the ega theorem is subset. So you're never going to have this mass audience with your YouTube series, I'm afraid
Mm-mm.
to say, but
Oh, yeah.
um, but that's true. That's how
But,
it's reality.
but I was coming down to not these videos, but I was coming down to Aharavenge generation, the Kudin doing it, and then that repeating.
But like in this case, you and me talking on Skype, we are probably appealing to this small subset of people who listen to video podcasts, and they are probably urban. The things we talk about appeal to this generation of people, can they border?
I hope
Because
that doesn't become our little echo chamber where we are stuck in Aharavenge feedback group.
no, no, I don't think it's necessary because the conversation that you've had on Skype, say with Velazine, did spread across to other things, and I really liked some of the other videos you did. I haven't honestly seen the last couple of. I haven't been able to find the time, but I intend to do that. Maybe we can do catch up on all the videos that I missed so far. Um,
Varang
but
dagu
yeah,
kawenge mi huna schedule ko anikati pura. It's
yeah, I
not a
know.
comment on you, but hey,
I
here I am.
I know how difficult I must have been though. Like, but yeah, but I will try to be like more like even writing it on schedule is very difficult for me. So then I go to
You're
the
the most
podcast.
You're the most workable out of everyone, Inge. I'll tell you because at the end of the day, we would find a time and we will do it.
Yeah.
Ekang Inge.
So like the way I picture this, I'm just going to speak with Moju for a while now, because I don't really need to prepare
Yeah,
and stuff.
exactly.
Though like, I can talk to you because you're a friend, so
Yeah.
that's fine with me. It's just not like a TV interview of
No,
sorts.
true.
I'm just taking wherever the conversation goes, we
Ah.
can talk about it.
Coffee ka gusto sa madakkan ni kagawat katawa.
The
Kadam.
coffee akadiyang
Ah.
kahakamadaan hembona. So yeah, that's from me.
All right,
I think
let's
our
make it shorter,
podcast.
Mia, and recording wise.
Uh,
153 now. So, done.
okay,
All right.
we will go shorter next time. For
All
now,
right.
yes, we are done.
Thank you
Right.
for being part of the episode. Appreciate it.
Right. Thanks,
Bye.
man.